So last month we finished a desexualizing challenge. Now, the desexualizing part is like detoxing from sexual energy, from aspects of where we're looking for sexual validation, from parts of thirst traps. You go on Instagram, you see some beautiful women, and the guys can get really addicted to those kind of content, especially now. I mean, if you look at social media, it's all about women objectifying themselves, sexualizing. Not all. Do want to emphasize on that, but there's plenty of women who are using their bodies to objectify themselves and sexualize themselves to get garner a lot of attention. And then you have a lot of men on social media following all these women who are just giving away their attention, their likes. Now, this is not a guy of certain value. And I'm not judging you here. Well, maybe I'm judging you here, but what I really want to make it clear is that, when you're trapped in that ego part, fractured ego is she's looking for attention, looking for significance to feel important. And then you've got the guy who's just um, paying attention just to the surface level kind of beauty, because yes, of course, we were hardwired for that surface kind of level beauty, but what the guy is doing is not restraining himself, and he's giving away his attention, giving away his likes, giving away his comments and his focus and time without the woman actually earning it. Just because she's beautiful, we can sacrifice so much, give so much validation, approval, just like that. That's what a lot of internet will call them the simps would do. A lot of beta males would do. I would call them more of the unevolved, fractured kind of man would be doing this. He'll be just giving away validation. Now, I'm not saying that I am absolutely angelic here. I was also stuck in that trap, liking photos and complimenting women on their kind of like surface level content. But as I started to evolve and grow and go through my own journey, I realized that high value men, or men of substance, men of value, they just don't give away something of value, which is attention, their time, their availability, just to everybody. So you will see that people who, like nice guys, they become over available, over accommodating, over validating people, pleasing people. That is from a really weak place. Now, when I started this challenge, one of the things I wanted to do was to help men really step away from sexualizing women on the internet, but also in real life too, and also start to get control back of their sexuality, because it's easy to get trapped. It's easy to fall into the aspect that women have a lot of sexual power, because when we see a beautiful woman, and guys will collapse, they will lose their values, they will become over available, over accommodating, put her on a pedestal, and she's the most amazing thing, because what we've done is we put her body on a pedestal, we pedestalized her, and we think, oh my god, this is amazing, she's amazing, she must be amazing person. Now, a lot of this is our biology too, I understand that, but what we want to do is we want to become more the conscious man and start taking control back from our biology, back from our unconscious, back from our primal responses. And this is a practice. This is not something that every man has got this under control. Most men don't. Some men do, where I would say my guys that I really admire and respect, they have a lot more self-control in their sexual urges. And this is the kind of like direction you want to be moving towards. And I'm taking, I took a lot of guys on this journey too last month. And so desexualizing included like no porn, no masturbation with ejaculation, no ogling or checking out women. So one of the things that guys reported back was that we managed 30 days, no porn. And that was surprising. None of the guys watched porn, consumed porn. And that was really, it was surprising, because how difficult porn is for a lot of men. And in my groups as well, there are guys that consume porn, but for 30 days during that challenge, they refrained from that. The most difficult thing, and all the men, including myself in the challenge, the most difficult thing was when we saw a beautiful woman, whether we're in town, we're walking around, or we're at the gym. That was one of the, I say, the most difficult places was in the gym or in a bar or something. You would see a beautiful woman, and we go into fantasy world with that. That's very natural. The challenge was to restrain yourself rather than going and you see a beautiful woman, and the challenge was, okay, you see a beautiful woman, you noticed it, and then just quickly move away rather than get latched onto her beauty and then going into fantasy. Most people, all of us, failed at some point during the challenge, and that was the most difficult point, was failing to really restrain ourselves in that. And we didn't I wasn't looking for perfectionism here. What we're looking for is just developing that mindset, developing that sexual restraint. And after the 30 days, what I noticed was some of the guys in the group, including myself, we had this, like, we felt much more empowered. Like, we can do a lot more and control ourselves a lot more. Not perfectly, not all the time, but just starting on a journey to have a lot more self-restraint, self-control, was the opening of just being able to feel much more powerful. Because at the end of the day, well, actually, all guys, they want to feel powerful inside. A lot of things you will notice is that I feel helpless, I feel powerless, and that's the point that guys want to say. I want to feel more powerful than life. And that was a great way, desexualizing was a great way to get that power back. Now, if you want to know more about this challenge, what we're doing, check out the desexualizing video. I'll drop a link to that video as well. So this is just a recap of some of the guys. I mean, some of the guys find it, they were connecting better with women. Some of them are in relationships. They had much better connection with their woman. There was a lot more sexual energy between them because there was much more focus on having a container, controlling and managing our sexual energy, and redirecting and focusing. So when you're in a relationship, imagine having the capacity to control that rather than it being controlled by you. There were some aspects of the challenge where you were to control your ejaculation. So rather than ejaculating, without having control, there was aspect of you, having choice in that. Imagine having the power and choice in when you do that. Now, again, it's not all the time, but going from no control to some control is a big win. It's that, I'm getting a bit more power. So that's what we're doing, is not looking to get to perfectionism and say, I'm going to be 100% perfect on this. It's like going from like one end, which is like, no, I have no control and it runs me, to having some control. And then over time, you start developing more and more and more control. And you're going to get to a state of not perfectionism, because that's the ego. The fractured ego wants perfectionism, but you'll get to a state of, actually, I have more control most of the time than I don't. And you can have good days and bad days, and we all did in the group. We all had struggled at some point, including myself. I still struggle with sexual energy. Sexual energy is very powerful, extremely powerful. It's life energy, creative energy. So therefore, it can have so much control and power over you and your choices. And most of the times, it will win. So rather than fighting it, rather than creating shame around it, the best way to manage it is to be able to embrace it, understand its light side, understand its dark side as well. So the desexualizing, we did a lot of more powerful stuff within the group as well. We had a really powerful conversation in the group. Some of the guys were expressing some of the things that they were struggling with, some of the things that it came up for them, and we were there to support them. And that's how you work on shame, being able to connect, communicate, share with other people. And what's happening now in the current world, especially of AI, guys are thinking, "Oh, I'm using the AI and it's going to help me," and AI is your therapist, your coach. There is some benefits to that. Absolutely, you can get some more insights about yourself. But the problem is, it's still not going to help you with shame, because shame requires another human being to be able to see you. Because you can still hide behind the AI. You can still it's not going to call out, it's not going to read your body language, it's not going to read the way a human being will perceive and read you. So the AI doesn't have that capacity. Maybe in the future it will, but it doesn't also have that spirit, that heart, that depthness, and the soul that when you are in front of somebody who can then see you. And that's what intimacy is, being able to see you in a real deep way. So when it comes to desexualizing, what we're doing is we're regaining back the power, and then we're healing the shame that creates a lot of sexual shame and embarrassment and dysfunctions. And if you don't work on this, then what happens is that we keep going back to dysfunctional habits in sex and intimacy. So that'll keep you stuck in, checking out women constantly on social media, going towards porn constantly, using sex to de-stress yourself. So it's a coping mechanism. It's a very, it can be used as an unhealthy coping mechanism. And then also women, some guys can be using it, or actually not some guys, actually most guys, including myself, when I didn't have consciousness, awareness of this, I was using more sex as more mechanical and primal than much more creativeness in this aspect as well. So here is a great opportunity to elevate your sexual energy, heal your sex fracture, work on your shame. So check out the video about desexualizing. And again, send me a message of like what are some of the things and challenges that you have when it comes to sexual shame and sexual fracture. All right, see you on the next one.